Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Water, Waste and Energy Committee for Thursday, 12th of October 2023. We will formally commence the meeting at 1:08. Welcome to committee members and welcome to our visitors today as well. Obviously, Councillor O'Neill is an apology today. She's not feeling well, so I'll be filling the chair today, and I guess we'll commence with an apology from Councillor O'Neill, if we could, please. Moved by Councillor McDonald and seconded by Councillor Tozer. All in favour of that motion? That's carried. I have no other leave of absence. Confirmation of minutes. So committee members will remember that at the last full council meeting we deferred resolving our discussions and recommendations from the last committee. That doesn't stop us from confirming the minutes today, so we're just confirming the minutes of our meeting last time around. So could I have a mover of those minutes from the last committee? Councillor Peter Young and a seconder. Councillor Castro. All those in favour? That's carried. I have no conflict of interest declarations, and I don't see how there could be any today. Committee forward planning schedule we will leave starred. Does anyone wish to unstar 6.1 or 6.2? Very good. Councillor Peter Young moves the starred items. Councillor Tozer seconds. All those in favour? Star items are carried. Councillors, that leaves us with item 6.3, which we have a presentation on. Adrian, welcome.
So, councillors, Adrian's going to talk about changes to the leak remission policy. The policy actually goes up to GAF. However, it used to go through here. And because of 1CP, we're following the 1CP process. Adrian will talk to you about what the implications of the changes are and talk you through them. But we're not being asked for a decision. You're not being asked for a decision.
No, so thanks, Cathy. The purpose of the presentation is we've historically raised this policy through the Water, Waste and Energy Committee because it's related to concealed leaks. It's going through GAF on the 17th of October for endorsement approval. It was always going there as a result of a 1CP refresh. However, in the intervening period for the workshops that we had with 1CP and that getting to GAF, the state government made an announcement around a new bulk water remission scheme. That announcement was made on the 2nd of August 2023. So for some time now, I think about 5 or 6 years, there's been talk or advocacy amongst councils for the state government to contribute to leakage remission because there's a two-part tariff, the council charge and the state charge. And as a part of a cost of living relief package, the state government announced a new scheme for that. So in terms of that actual scheme, there's two elements. There's the state bulk charge remission, where they're introducing remission for all residential customers, 100% of state charges for pensioners and 70% for non-pensioners. So at the moment, our policy divides residential customers into owner-occupied and non-owner-occupied. Owner-occupier receive 100% of the council charges and a portion of the state government charges. Non-owner occupiers only receive 100% of council charges. They've also announced a harmonisation of water service provider scheme eligibility under that lane. The other piece that they've announced as a part of the package was a debt relief scheme. That debt relief scheme, in effect, is if a customer or a resident has had an approved concealed leak ever and still have a debt owing on the account, so you need to have had an approved concealed leak and a debt owing on the account, the state government will provide debt relief up to the value of the new remissions. So, for example, if a customer had a leak in April 2022 and that leak was worth $1,000 of council money and $3,000 of state money and the account hadn't been paid off as a result of that leak, the state remission scheme would apply them the amount of the 70% of the state charges that they are entitled to under the new scheme. So in terms of that, it's quite a generous scheme and it's a good step forward for customers. So a couple of key points on it. The scheme will be administered by council and any costs of the remission will be invoiced to the state via Sec Water. The approach is currently in planning. The state requested that we increase the state charge and apply the new remissions as soon as possible. The city went live on the 18th of September after receiving a letter of comfort from the state that we would be able to be invoiced back the cost of that. We've just let that go a little bit earlier than the policy because it was in advantage or in favour of customers. The debt relief is to be applied automatically by council for eligible charges, no later than the end of calendar year 2023. There is a requirement, which I'll get into in the next slide, for all of the water service providers' eligibility to be harmonised. However, I will go over to the next slide. The indications that we have from the state is that the City of Gold Coast eligibility criteria, so we're on the left of that table, is the eligibility criteria that the state government wants to apply. So for those customer groupings, they want concealed leaks to apply for all residential customers, all pensioners, all not-for-profit organisations and small businesses. We're already there. So the harmonisation process is not something that we're broadly concerned about. Also, in terms of, and I've got some numbers in the next slide, in terms of our application of this scheme, because the Gold Coast were already providing 100% of council charges and some element of state charges, our implementation has been obviously a lot easier. In terms of the overall policy that's going through to GAF, there's no material changes to the policy apart from implementing debt relief in the state government scheme. So we've simplified the terminology, made it more customer friendly. We've added the state government remission scheme, and we have linked the state charge remission, because it is increased, to the existence of the state government scheme on an ongoing basis. So if the state was to stop that scheme for whatever reason, it would stop under our policy. I've been through broadly the entitlements there, and I'm happy to take questions if there's any specific ones.
So we will invoice the state on a monthly or a quarterly basis?
Through you, Mr Chair, yes. So we are working through an invoice process with them at the moment. They've given us a letter of comfort that their invoicing process should be finalised mid to late, late September 2023, which has passed. So we're seeking guidance, but we will invoice Seqwater for the bulk water charges as a result of this scheme.
And in terms of the timing of that will happen at the point in time that we reach an arrangement regarding our retail component as well, or before? So we get a school $20,000 bill, a private school $20,000 bill, let's say 10,000 of it's bulk, we're going to come to an arrangement regarding remission. When do we invoice the state?
So we would do it bulk. We have an option to do it monthly because that's our cadence for reporting if that customer was eligible under our policy. Just importantly, with a school, it's a not-for-profit organisation. Not-for-profit is defined in our policy as receiving a donation. So either donation 1 to 5.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I'm conscious of a couple of leaks that occurred to church properties or something like that in the last year. Are we going to be making approaches to people that we know have had a leak remission applied so far?
Mr Chair, yes we are.
Great.
So if they've been approved for a concealed leak after the 1st of July 2016, so in our policy we've had to, due to data limitations, we've had to say from the 1st of July 2016 we will approach that task automatically. Under the new policy, we've called out to customers that if you have had a leak prior to the 1st of July 2016, please come to us for a case-by-case assessment.
Thank you.
Bob, I can't tell if it's your dentistry work or another look on your face, but did you have a question there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little confused. So retrospective back to 2016? Sorry, that can't be right. I must have misunderstood.
Through you, Mr Chair, it is retrospective. So
Back to 2016?
Yes.
Must be an election coming. Yeah. Okay.
Righto. I think just the context of this slide that I sort of wanted to explain was our first and foremost priority is to always help residents prevent leaks. So we've got a range of things that we've done that you would all be familiar with over time. Rolling billing, we do detailed high usage alert levels. We've piloted text messages to alert people to high usage issues. Our meter reading processes have checks and balances. So that's always our first priority, and obviously for commercial customers, they have smart meters. But in terms, I just wanted to outline the savings to the city of this state scheme is in the order on our estimates of about $500,000 of leakage per year. The benefit to the customers, which is on the right of each table, is in the order of about $1.1 million of additional leakage per year. On an average basis, if we look at FY 22-23, the average remission of the 1,700 residential customers who were approved was around $600. With this state scheme, that increases to $1,000. I think what that translates to for the community and for residents is less angst, more support where a leak occurs, and obviously a lot of less friction between us as we're applying the policy. Councillor.
2 questions. Do you think the state knows the other dollar amounts?
Sorry?
Do you think the state knows that the other dollar amounts that are involved?
We have communicated in terms of our policy.
And the second question is the city able to claim any leakage, any bulk water leakage? So the city ourselves? So
The city ourselves, no.
that's a shame. Okay.
Just in terms of numbers for debt relief, these estimates are very preliminary estimates. One of our challenges is to apply the eligibility criteria. Our teams are having to go through manual volumes of accounts. So we're looking at in the order of about 150, and it's 155 up there, but there's some hot off the press numbers, around 170 accounts with a total value of 85,000 to 100,000 that we can piece together in debt relief. The reason why that's such a challenge for us to pull together is we have to do the debt outstanding as at the 2nd of August. We have to match the approval data, which is in one system, with the Grange data, and then manually check that the account never reached zero after the leak was applied. So we're going through that process and anticipating that we'll be able to get there by the end of December. In terms of next steps, we're already processing the increased state remissions. So to give you a flavour, since the 2nd of August, there was 245 customers who received the new remissions, totalling around $110,000 of remissions. So that's pretty good going. We're looking at policy adoption, hopefully, after GAF next week. And then the final 2 steps are debt relief process, which we'll be doing in conjunction with Revenue Services, and the implementation of the invoicing mechanism with the state government. So all of that collectively will go into our leakage policy in a very simplified manner to make it digestible for customers. And I'll pause there for any questions, any additional questions.
Questions, councillors? Glenn's excited. Anything else? Any other questions or statements? Very good. Well, then we'll follow this up in GAF. Yeah, we can if you want to. There's no need to, but no, it's going to be included in the minutes anyway. Okay.
Cost of living actions are practical and
Councillors, I didn't have notification, and I'm not sure if Councillor O'Neill did, but were there any general business items to be raised today? Very good. In that case, unless the Director has got anything else you wish to talk about? In that case, I will call the meeting closed at 13:21. If I could have 30 seconds of your time afterwards quickly, but we'll close the meeting at 13:21.